I really can't believe I'm going to do this. I really can't believe I'm going to do this. But I'm really going to do this. Hello from 4039 in Moscow. I really have to tell you, this is the second take on this, and I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I was really quite foolish to think that I was going to get through this in 15 minutes, and I didn't know that the YouTube video machine only gave you 15 minutes. And I'm going to have to streamline a few things, but I wanted to help you guys manage a difficult situation, and it's really not that difficult. And as far as how we manage this, one of the things I figured I would try to do is at least come back to you guys for the next few things, and if it works, hopefully it can work until I arrive, which I'm so excited to be able to do. And what I do want to do is, I've gone over your tests, and the small class, you've received yours. Some of you in the large class, you've been receiving some notes of mine, having read it. And what you're going to need to do at this point is to go through your work, make the corrections, and you're going to need to resend me your best copy, 1,000 words. But before you send it to me on its revision that will be graded as an AOL, you're going to need to read your answer in class. So as you get through this, you are going to then have to work out time in class to meet with other people that did your question and look at what you all did. Try to figure out how to make it the best possible answer you have. This topic and this type of question is quite common on IB, and if the IB gods have it, you'll have an Origins of the Cold War question on your IB test this upcoming May. So you're going to spend some time re-looking at what you do. Read the comments that I have, whether it's on your email, school email. If you did not receive something from me by tomorrow, then I did not get a scan copy from you. So we will have to work that out. But then you're going to have to redo it. It'll be for an AOL, and please send that fresh copy to me, typed, 1,000 words. But before we do this, I want to talk about the themes of those questions, talk about how to make them better as well. And first and foremost, everybody picked the right questions, which I was really pleased with. And when you were analyzing origins, or the one question that was dealing with fears or analyzing responsibility, everybody wrote a well-versed essay that is able to improve upon, but I was really delighted with your knowledge on this topic, and I know we can all do better with this. And as you get more information about the Cold War, you're only going to get better writing about the origins. So if we look at these origins, a couple of things that I do want to make mention. If your question has a year point to it, you've got to make that year be part of your essay. They are putting it there for you to rationalize it. Please do that. Some other things that I think really could have worked out. Some people need to be better in their chronological writing of the events. In a lot of these cases, you're looking at up to 53, up to 49, and you've got to go into detail with the chronological events of what happened during that time to make your essay tight and directly related to the question that's being asked of you. So those are some things that you need to point out. I thought many of you used the orthodox, revisionist, post-revisionist really effectively, and I think that one thing I'd like you to do is try to go a little bit deeper with this and try to read some more post-Soviet documents and kind of shed some more light. And if we look at that historiographic part of it, let's start at the end, which probably is the most reliable and relevant information. And I think when you're writing about the origins of the Cold War, if you're not at least isolating a good chunk of time to Joseph Stalin, you're probably making a mistake. Let's recognize nobody had their fingerprints on the origins of the Cold War like Joseph Stalin. From 1905 right through to 1953, he was a prominent member as part of the Communist Revolution, and he played a huge role in that. And when you look at Harry Truman, he had 7 years in it. Stalin had a lot more. Truman was not sort of in that mode of international relations like Stalin's was. We have to recognize that this man, along with Churchill and Stalin, but no doubt Stalin plays the most prominent role. And you have to manage to make that. And let's recognize that if you were negotiating with a man like Joseph Stalin and you knew what his past was, I think, as Gaddis believes, is the case of nobody could have ever trusted Joseph Stalin. For what he did, nobody would ever trust him, and it was Truman that sort of laid that line down. I think most people think that Roosevelt would have smoothed things out. That's a little bit dreamy. But, Stalin is a man, and what he has done, when you think of having an agreement with somebody like that and thinking that it's going to be foolproof, I think everybody realistically knew that that's a key point. Another point that I think you really need to make quite often is some people need to use the coup in Czechoslovakia and what happened to Thomas Masaryk as a key element to this period of time. This was a real crystallizing moment of the origins of the Cold War, and I think many people could use that better. Some other things that I think are really worthwhile when you're trying to do this, you can almost look at Berlin as, in 1949, is this key element. You see those periods of time at different points. 1949, Chinese communists in power. Soviet successful nuclear bomb, a great piece of that. And the last piece to 49 is the Berlin crisis. Stalin made his mark. He thought he could push people out of Berlin, and he did not. And when you look at those dynamics of 1949, that's why that year comes up quite a bit into play. Think about what you can do to make this essay better. Think about your intro. You've got time to think about this. This is worth 70%. What you did in time was worth 30. I will get all of these grades back to you, and you should be giving me your best piece of work when you come back. Think about how to make your essay better. Look at the mark bands of what you can do. Quotes, look at those higher bands, and think about how you can make that better. So with my this is about my third go at this. Hopefully I'll be able to download and make this work. I'm really looking forward to getting back to seeing you guys. I hope I can kind of do this with a couple of other topics that I'd like to try, and maybe make this YouTube work a little bit better. I'll see y'all later. Hasta la pizza, babies.